Hi everyone, today is Monday, September 3rd, and I'm actually in a NAFTA region, north of the USA. And, today is supposed to be something called Labor Day, but, what the fuck is this thing called Labor Day when we work every single day? And these labor celebrations are sort of the celebration of some kind of union culture, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyways, still filming and doing videos and doing other things. I actually wanted to talk about racialization of justice in Canada, and speaking from a context of what I've actually observed from Ontario, Canada. And what's really interesting is that, you know, this this way to sort of process black women and black males very differently in the justice system is very, very disgusting. I've been following this one case where a person was actually executed, and he was, a very melanin-rich dark male, and the person that actually murdered him was a very light-skinned black male, wanted to be some kind of famous person or whatever, just a very confused, very hateful, person. So anyways, they found this guy, and so I've just been following the case, and one of the questions that I've been asking myself is, how does the system of judiciary in Canada actually work for black women? And in this situation, this black mother lost her child. The child was executed, and this is a very common thing in Ontario, Canada, where a lot of black women are actually losing their children to murder, different types of violences, even racial profiling, medicalization. It's a very, very disturbing trend, and I haven't even seen any type of critical. You have to move beyond the analysis because there's just so much in the academy, but there hasn't been any punitive legislation implemented so that it actually fixes this very, very broken system. So I've been following this one case where this black male was actually murdered, and what had happened was these pieces of shit basically went up behind him and executed him, so blew off his head. And execution is actually not allowed in Canada. So what also makes me interested in this is because I actually knew the person, and it was just really sad to see, how this whole processing of justice works when you don't even have a lot of us involved in the justice system. Like I was, in my thing is, interests in, criminal environmental law, and someone just said, okay, you know what, come to this criminal court and just take a look at stuff, right? So I went there and I was just like, wow, this just is really disgusting because, first of all, you don't even see any sort of self-reflection around what kind of social norms these case processing situations are actually going to set. And in relation to this one, this guy basically kills a black male, he gets convicted, but then he has accomplices. So how they tracked down these accomplices were through text messages. And it was very interesting to see even the text messaging data. So for some of you out there that actually like to keep up with the latest, cell phone trend and all this like texting bullshit, you guys are some real fucking dumbasses. Because if you actually go to some of these criminal court cases and see how they catch all these like, I don't know, pedophiles and all these like just fucking pieces of shit in the system, you'd be amazed. So all of you out there, with these cell phones, and you know what, you got to think about what you're doing, because quite frankly, Congo in Africa will actually appreciate you if you say no more cell phones, because this whole money making market is, not benefiting us as a community. So I'm sitting in this hearing, and it's now about the accomplice. So basically, this guy was supposed to be, the driver, and basically getaway person. And it was really interesting to see how these black males organized against a black male that was actually trying to get on with his life. And so anyways, I was sitting in this case for the accomplice, and just wanted to find out, different things around how this sort of justice system works for black women, because the issue is, killing black babies and victimizing black women. So, I was just sitting in this, and I took my notes and whatnot, and one of the things that came to mind was that, I said, the system of justice in Canada, especially what I am actually experiencing and also observing from the Ontario context, is so fucking problematic for black folk. But even within the black community, you have this gendered, racialized justice. So you actually have, for example, very, very punitive measures being placed on black women. However, not the same measures being placed on black males, very violent black males. For example, black males that think it's okay to kill, black babies. Those ones should be just gassed out of the fucking universe. And I was sitting in this case, and it was interesting to see the dynamic where none of the advocacy was even black. All the advocates were Caucasian. All the victims were actually black. And then they had this, what seemed to be a token person of color, who, has some issues with even, I would definitely say, has some issues. And, I was just like, something doesn't look right here, because on one hand, my level of, I don't want to say respect, but my level of regard for policing systems has certainly diminished, especially with my experience with racial profiling. So I'm sitting there in this case, and I'm saying to myself, okay, if I am actually representing, this situation, what exactly am I representing? And personally, if I feel that there is, no ability, if I feel that I don't believe in the case, I'm not going to take it. And, I'll just walk away from it. And if I feel that, there's something here in the case, I would definitely take it. And it's just really interesting. I was just, reflecting on sort of this racialized administration of justice, but within that demographic of racialized, there's also the gendering of justice. And, the criminal justice system is so fucking disrespectful to black women who have lost their babies. And it's incredibly disrespectful to black sisters who are actually very, very talented, but differently located because of poverty, maybe no access to education, and it just made me reflect on even my role in getting involved in administrations of justice. What do you do? How do you think about stuff like this? How do you actually feel this stuff? I'd like to hear your thoughts about racialized, gendered justice. Within the black community, there's a differential positioning between black males and black females. And black women are actually feeling the brunt of things, and I just don't think that's fair at all. It really bothers me to even see how, you know, they had this Caucasian who was speaking on behalf of this black male, and I thought to myself, you know what, black male, just speak for your fucking self and talk to the fucking judge directly. And I was just sort of watching some of the body language, and his head went down when the mother got on the stand, and I thought to myself, okay, if you were not guilty of the crime, then why the fuck would you even put your head down? And you see, within the black community, it's also important for black women like myself to go to these things and see how these men are. Not all black males are like this. The ones that I've come across are very, very gentle. They're very nice, and they're very in tune with how to love a black woman. But you have these very confused pieces of, I don't even know what to say, but I think the first thing that came to mind was, oh yeah, look at this, like, that is the one from the house that would actually go and kill the plantation Negro, and, I just thought to myself, like, what the fuck are we even talking like that, So, gendered racialization of justice as it applies to the black community in Canada, especially within the Ontario demographic. What are some of your thoughts around this? Because as far as I have seen and experienced, it's very, very disturbing that even though they have, for example, a community in Ontario, nobody has actually come forward and said, you know what, we're actually going to make amendments to the law so that we can actually fix the infrastructure of the system. I mean, if you know that the engineering behind a car is just not making it feel efficient and sensitive to the environment, then what are you going to do? You're going to re-engineer the system. And it's the same thing. The Canadian justice system, especially this criminal justice system, like, for all those people working in, criminal justice, what do they call them? Youth workers, or all these like worker people. How many of them have actually stepped forward and said, you know what, we're going to write a fucking letter and say, you know what, we want the laws amended so that, it'll put them out of a job, but you know what, it will actually make the social norms much better. And this is some of the things that I'm seeing is that, there needs to be a lot of re-engineering of different systems of justice. So I'm definitely thumbs down for the Canadian justice system because it's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. And, I like the USA system. However, the USA system still has problems with different treatment because you have, people who are wrongfully convicted and then they end up losing, their ability to walk their journey in their life. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on sort of this administration of justice, criminal justice. The model itself is very, very problematic. And why hasn't anybody actually petitioned even the engineering of that model in the model in Canada?